Hey there, deep divers. Ready for a wild ride? We're diving deep into the restoration of those who were failed by religiosity. This book, it's by Dr. Roy E. Richmond, and let me tell you, it blew my mind.
It's quite a journey he takes us on,
Yeah.
exploring spiritual awakening in a way that really resonates.
Right. Like, ever feel that pull, that yearning for something bigger, beyond the rituals, beyond the dogma?
That's exactly where Dr. Richmond takes us. He uses this incredible metaphor, the Israelites returning to Jerusalem. It's like their journey back to their spiritual homeland.
And it's a powerful image, right?
Yeah.
Like Dr. Frank Hodge, he says it so well in the foreword. This book, it's all about divine love, not the kind you got to earn, but the kind that's already there, waiting for us to remember it.
And to really grasp that, we have to understand those places the Israelites are returning from, Assyria, Egypt, Pathros, these names, they're not just places, they're states of being.
Okay, so unpack that for us. What's the deal with Assyria?
Well, imagine feeling trapped. Like you have to achieve all these things to be worthy, to be successful. That's Assyria. It's that pressure to perform, to conform to worldly expectations.
Ugh, yeah. Been there, done that, got the t-shirt. And Egypt. We're talking pyramids, pharaohs. What's the spiritual connection?
Egypt's all about the material world. It's getting so caught up in the physical, the stuff, the possessions, the status, that you lose sight of what truly matters.
It's that I need this, I want that mentality, right? Like it can be so easy to get swept up in that. Okay, but Pathros, this one really got me. What's the vibe with Pathros?
Pathros is dryness. It's that feeling of being fragmented, disconnected from your true self. Like you're scattered, lost in the desert of your own mind.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I've totally felt that. And it's not a fun place to be.
Definitely not. And then Dr. Richmond introduces us to Kush, which represents those darkened thoughts, like you're cut off from your own inner light.
It's like being stuck in that negative spiral, right? Where you
Uh-huh.
just can't seem to break free.
Exactly. And then we come to Elam. Elam embodies fear, those hidden anxieties that can hold us back. It's like being a prisoner in your own mind, constantly battling those what-ifs. So we've got Assyria, Egypt, Pathros, Cush, Elam. Feeling a little overwhelmed yet? Don't worry, we're just getting started. We've still got Shinar and Hamath to explore.
And these two, they add such depth to this idea of our spiritual journey. Take Shinar, for example. Imagine being bombarded with information, distractions coming at you from every direction.
Oh, Shinar is my life.
Yeah.
It's like he's reading my mind here, seriously. Okay, but Hamath, fill us in. What's that one all about?
Hamath is that inner struggle, that pull between clinging to material comfort and surrendering to spiritual trust. It's like, do you play it safe, stick with what you know, even if it's not truly fulfilling? Or do you take that leap of faith?
Right, because there's that fear, right? Like, what if I let go of all this and nothing's there to catch me?
It's a scary thought, for sure. But what Dr. Richmond's suggesting is that maybe, just maybe, there's something far greater waiting for us when we let go of those old limiting beliefs. It's about trusting in that divine flow, right? Having faith that we're guided and supported even when we can't see the path ahead.
Exactly. And to navigate that path,
Mhm.
Dr. Richmond introduces this powerful concept, the need for a new ensign.
Okay, confession time. When I first read that, I was like, ensign, what's he talking about?
It's from Isaiah 11.10, this idea of a banner, a waymark, a guiding light. And in this context, Dr. Richmond is suggesting that we need to look beyond those traditional religious structures, especially the ones that might not be serving us anymore.
So it's not about abandoning faith altogether, but about finding what truly resonates with our souls.
Precisely. It's about cultivating a direct connection with that divine presence within, that Father Spirit that's always there, guiding us on our journey.
Trusting your own inner compass. I like that.
And that's where things start to get really interesting.
Okay, so the Exodus story. The Israelites, ditching Egypt, always loved a good Exodus metaphor, breaking free, starting fresh, leaving the old baggage behind.
It's powerful, right? And Dr. Richmond connects that directly to breaking free from those beliefs that are holding us back, especially the ones we've inherited from rigid religious structures.
So not necessarily ditching religion entirely, but kind of questioning those beliefs that maybe aren't serving us anymore.
Exactly. And, it's interesting. So many people today are feeling that pull. Like they're craving something more authentic, more in line with their own personal experience.
Totally. People want a spirituality that speaks to their hearts, not just their heads.
Right. And that's where that idea of Egypt being like a state of enslavement really resonates.
Yeah, it's like being trapped by what you think you should believe, even if it doesn't quite feel true. Been there. Not a fun place to be.
Not at all. But here's the thing, Dr. Richmond, he doesn't just point out the problem. He offers solutions. He talks about this idea of seeking, Like, instead of looking for answers outside ourselves, we need to turn inward.
Ooh, I like that. So tapping into that inner wisdom, that intuition.
Exactly. He actually quotes those passages from Matthew, Luke, and John about asking and it shall be given, seeking and you shall find. It's like we already have the answers within us. We just have to know where to look.
We have to remember how to access that inner wisdom. And that kind of ties into his whole concept of prosperity too, right? Which, by the way, he makes it very clear is about way more than just money.
Oh, absolutely. He goes deep into the original Hebrew and Greek words for prosper. And it's fascinating because it encompasses so much more than just financial wealth.
It's about experiencing abundance in all areas of life, right?
Right. It's about recognizing the wealth of spiritual resources that are already available to us. Love, wisdom, guidance. It's all there waiting for us to tap in.
It's about aligning ourselves with that divine flow, trusting that we're supported, provided for in every way.
And that brings us to one of the most intriguing parts of Dr. Richmond's work, this concept of the branch man woman. Ever heard that term before?
I've got to be honest, that one threw me for a loop. Sounds kind of like a character from Lord of the Rings. So who is this mysterious branch man woman? What do they represent? The branch man woman. Yeah, it does have a certain ring to it, doesn't it? Kind of mystical, like something out of ancient legend. But in this book, it's not about some mythical figure, right? It's deeper than that.
You got it. It's more of an archetype, a representation of those individuals who've gone beyond the limitations of dogma, you know. They've stepped outside those rigid religious structures and tapped into a more universal understanding of the divine.
So it's not about a specific person, but like a way of being, a state of consciousness we can all aspire to.
Exactly. Think of those people you meet who just radiate this incredible energy, you know, love, wisdom, compassion. It's like they've tapped into this source of strength and peace that goes beyond any one belief system. Those are the branch men and women among us.
They're like living proof that it's possible to connect with that divine spark within.
And they show us that we can access that most holy place within ourselves, too. That direct connection with the divine that Dr. Richmond talks about.
And that brings us to that whole concept of the veil, right? The one in the tabernacle, separating the holy place from the most holy place.
Exactly. Dr. Richmond, he makes this brilliant connection between that physical veil and the veil of illusion that we often put up between ourselves and the divine.
So not a literal veil, but those metaphorical veils, those limiting beliefs, the fears, the doubts that keep us feeling separated from our true spiritual nature.
You got it. It's like this barrier we create between ourselves and experiencing the fullness of the divine. It's that voice of self-doubt, you know, those whispers that tell us we're not good enough, not worthy enough to experience that connection.
Oh man, I know that voice all too well. It's like that inner critic that's always lurking in the shadows.
And here's the good news. Dr. Richmond doesn't leave us hanging with that image of the veil. He offers a powerful message of hope. He suggests that by letting go of those illusions, by tearing down those barriers, we can access that most holy place within ourselves.
So it's about reclaiming our worthiness, remembering that we are one with the divine.
That's where true liberation lies. It's about silencing that inner accuser, that voice of negativity. Dr. Richmond even brings in that passage from Revelation 12:10 where it talks about the accuser being cast down.
Wow, that's quite an image. So it's like we're taking that biblical metaphor and internalizing it, casting down those limiting beliefs that keep us feeling small, feeling separate.
Exactly. When we embrace our true nature as sons and daughters of God, beings of love and light, we step into a place of power. We step into that kingdom of heaven that Dr. Richmond talks about, that state of spiritual abundance that's available to all of us.
And it's a journey, no doubt about it, but so worth taking.
Absolutely.
Well, deep divers, this has been one incredible deep dive. I mean, we covered so much ground. We talked about those geographical metaphors, the branch man woman, the veil of illusion, recognizing our own inherent worthiness. My mind is officially blown. What about you?
It's a lot to process, for sure. But if there's one thing I hope listeners take away from this conversation, it's that the kingdom of heaven truly is within you.
It's about looking inward, listening to that still, small voice, trusting that you are guided, that you are loved, that you are supported every step of the way.
Beautifully said.
And on that note, dear listeners, we leave you with this. What amazing possibilities open up when you embrace who you truly are, a divine being with infinite potential. Until next time, keep seeking, keep exploring, and keep diving deep.
And remember, the most incredible discoveries are often the ones we make within.